Hey guys, it's Kristen here, co-founder at Coaching No Code Apps, and I want to come in here and talk to you today about everything that's going on in the world with the coronavirus and thus the economy and just our day-to-day life as a whole and how it affects you as an app founder. So we've been having conversations with a lot of our clients over the last few days, and it's been really inspiring to hear what they're saying in regard to how they're moving forward with their apps in a time when, people are home from work, family members around them or they themselves might be taking special precautions for their health. Kids are home from school. Stores are closed. Restaurants are closed. Our day-to-day lives are different right now, right? And having conversations with these people who are not only, dealing with all the stressors that happen around that, but who are trying to build custom applications, it's really opened our eyes to the way people like them operate. And I know a lot of you out there are similar to them. And so I think this is going to help you today, having this conversation. So over the past few days and even the last couple of weeks, we've been thinking a lot and talking a lot about the two different mindsets that we see most app entrepreneurs have, so most app founders. And again, a lot of you are building businesses. You currently have a business and you're finding ways to grow it, to scale it. You're building apps for your industries. You are an entrepreneur. You are a founder. And we've seen that most founders and entrepreneurs have these two mindsets. And what I want to do is open up my whiteboard here and kind of draw this out so we can talk through it a little bit more in depth. So the two mindsets we've really uncovered after working with, it's just spending thousands of hours working with app founders, are the growth operators and the regressors. Now, the growth operators, when faced with uncertainty or changes to their day-to-day lives, disruption, growth operators thrive. And regressors, when faced with those same situations, they pause. Now, growth operators have, actually, let me change this here. Both of these types of entrepreneurs, they have certain actions and certain aspirations. For growth operators, when faced with uncertainty or challenges, with the coronavirus happening in the world right now, people's day-to-day lives are just totally changed. And a lot of people are facing a lot of challenges right now. And when growth operators are faced with challenges like that, what they do is double down. Now, this is important, and we're going to get to the regressors' actions in just a minute, but instead of pulling back or maybe being a little bit more hesitant, they double down. They get to work. They see these challenges as opportunities, which might sound a little bit weird given the current situation and given the topic, but they look for opportunities. And of course, this is not to make light about what's going on in the world. Obviously, there are health implications. There are people struggling. There are, there is a lot going on. We're looking at the business side of things right now because a lot of you are either running a business or growing a business. So it's very relevant and important. Growth operators double down during times like this. And not only that, they stay the course, or they creatively adapt. Now, this is important because as someone building a business, as someone building an app, you don't have a finish line. You don't have a point where, you're going to reach it and you're just going to be done. Your app is going to be progressing and growing and evolving forever. It's going to keep going and going and going. And, whether it is a health aspect or something else, things are going to come your way that are going to try to throw you off your path and push you in different ways. Growth operators stay the course. And that doesn't mean they follow their one single path all the way through. But life happens, things happen. And part of staying the course means creatively adapting. So when things do come their way, instead of, veering off path or slowing down, growth operators stay the course. And sometimes that means adapting, but that's part of staying the course, right? Staying the course is just moving forward. And that's what growth operators do when faced with, changes or challenges. And not only that, but they look for growth opportunities. And this can be related to their apps, their lives, their businesses. When they see people around them slowing down or people around them pausing, they look for growth opportunities. Now, I'm not going to talk about the economy and I'm not going to give you financial advice, but growth operators look for ways to build assets and to make their money, their time, their energy work for them by adopting and having actions now that serve them well in the long run. So whether that's with their apps, their businesses, their careers, their lives, whatever it may be, they look for growth opportunities. Now, regressors have a different set of actions. They focus on fear and worry. When their day-to-day lives are disrupted, when they are faced with difficulties, differences, challenges, extra things put on their plate, they focus on their fear and their worry. And what that does is it makes them driven by their doubts. They start to doubt their future. They start to doubt their capabilities. Their fears and their worries settle in their minds and they drive their actions. So regressors end up being driven to make decisions based on their doubts. And what that leads to is them stepping back. And not only that, but slowing down. So you can see that the actions between growth operators and regressors are vastly different. One looks forward and up, and one looks back. Now, it's important to note that for both of these mindsets, these people have the same aspirations, regardless of their mindset. They have the same aspirations as you. They're wanting to build a business with an app, grow their existing business with an app, change an industry with an app. They have the same aspirations, just like you do. But based on their actions, the way they feel about their aspirations when they're faced with changes in their day-to-day lives, those change the way they look at their aspirations. So growth operators, they become leaders in their markets. They aspire to build an app that will lead their market. It will be the authority in their market. That's one of their aspirations. When faced with challenges, they aspire for their apps to become the leader and the authority in their markets. And not only that, but they aspire to create reliable and durable income. Now, as you've seen over the past several years, the past 3, 5, 10, 15 years, businesses are constantly moving toward the online space. And not only that, but apps and the app market in general is just booming. That is a thing that has already been happening over the past years. But right now, with something like the coronavirus, where it's forcing people to work from home, to stay inside, to adapt creatively, to continue living their day-to-day lives and continue working, going to school, filling their needs, apps are being absolutely thrust into the spotlight right now. This is, again, not to take away from or make light of the challenges the world is facing right now. But from a business standpoint, for all of you out there who are building an app for business purposes, being able to find a way to make an opportunity out of a difficult situation is just massive, and it can have a massive impact on you. And growth operators aspire during challenging times or different times to create reliable, durable income that will serve them for the long run. And they know that right now apps have the potential to just grow and expand because they're being just forced into the spotlight right now. And not only that, or to build off of that, but they aspire to give themselves and their families financial security. And this, it just builds off the point above, but even more so, because what are your goals with your app? Likely you want to monetize it in some way. You want to turn it into a business. You want to help your business grow with an app. You want to streamline operations, change practices in an industry, whatever it may be. The financial return is likely what you're working towards. But what's after that? Think about what comes after. Well, a lot of it has to do with giving yourself financial security, giving your family financial security, creating stability in your life. And that's an aspiration that growth operators have, regardless of what they're faced with. Now, like I said, regressors, they have the same aspirations, but based on what's going on in the world or in their world, they look at their aspirations differently. So for growth operators, during times like this, their dreams and their goals, they feel like they're done for. They feel like they're not possible. They focus on their fear, focus on their worry. They're driven by their doubts, and it leads them to believing that their dreams and goals, their aspirations, are just done for. They're no longer possible. They also think or worry that their market won't recover. Now, feeling this fear and this worry, it's normal. It's normal when you're faced with a challenge or a difference or, something like this that's going on in the world where people are getting sick, people are having to stay home, people aren't able to go to work, kids aren't able to go to school. When faced with things like that, it's normal to feel that fear or that worry. It's how you mentally approach it, and it's the actions you take that decide the next steps. And with regressors, because they let that fear and that worry just settle into them, and they're absolutely driven by it, they think their markets won't recover. Now, we know throughout history that markets, they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. That is the way it goes, right? So it's normal to feel that fear and that worry, but we know historically that the markets will rise and they will fall, and they will rise and they will fall. Now, because of the above and because of all their actions, at the worst, regressors feel like they'll fail with anything, whether it's their app, their business, even their family. They feel like they'll fail. They feel like all of their aspirations they have, they're done for, and that they'll just fail. At the end of the day, they'll be a failure. Now, it's important to understand that growth operators, I'm going to move this over here. Growth operators, they think more long term. And this is a really important distinction to make, because regressors think short term. And because of these different mindsets these types of people have, growth operators take actions now that will serve them well in the long run. Regressors take actions now that will pull them away from their goals, dreams, and aspirations in the long run. So, based on these actions, growth operators double down. They stay the course and creatively adapt. They look for growth opportunities, even when they're faced with massive challenges. And because they take those actions now, they are driven toward their aspirations in the long term. Regressors, on the other hand, because they take actions now that involve focusing on fear or worry and letting that fear and worry drive them, being driven by doubt and stepping back or slowing down, it causes them to pull farther and farther away from their aspirations. When they feel like their dreams and goals are done for, or their markets won't recover, or they will fail, they are driven away from those aspirations, even thinking they're possible. Now, there's another quadrant or sort of category or group right up here. And these are the high level operators. The high level operators are like a step up from the growth operators. Not only do high level operators aspire to become leaders in their markets, for their apps to be the leading app in their markets, but they want to be voices of positivity. Not only do they want to be leaders, they want to bring the regressors up with them. They want to lead in their market, but they want to reach back and pull everyone else up with them too. And not only that, they don't just think their goals and dreams are a reality, they know it. They know it. They know that the actions they take now will directly influence their return down the road. They know their aspirations are still possible. They know that they are looking for a long-term return. They take actions now because they know their aspirations are still possible. And importantly, they drive forward when others pull back. They don't just stay the course, they plow forward. They drive forward when others maybe all around them are pulling back or stepping back or even just staying the course. They drive forward. This up here is where we should all aspire to be when we're building our apps. Now, I'm going to pull this down a little bit and talk about the long-term return you are looking at when building your app. So, building an app, let me make this a little bit bigger. Building an app, it's a long-term game, regardless of what's going on around you, regardless of what the economy is doing, what the world is going through. Building an app is a long-term game. You're not looking to build an app so you can launch it tomorrow. You're looking to build an app that has the potential to become a successful business, to scale your already successful business, or even to change the practices in an industry. That's a long-term game you're playing. Now, just to kind of tie this in with a lot of what some of the experts are talking about right now, and with the idea of making an investment now in your future. And I'm not just talking financially, but whether that's with your time, your energy, your finances, whatever it may be. Warren Buffett said, "Be greedy when others are fearful." And this goes back to the growth operator mindset so perfectly, or the high level operator mindset. It's, Warren Buffett was talking about investing and investing when, when stocks are down, and playing the long game. And again, we're not going to go into giving financial advice here, but it does apply to building your app as well, because it is a long game. Regardless of what's facing you, you're looking for a long-term investment. And right now, especially when others around you, others in your market, potential competition, others just in your day-to-day life, when they're pulling back and they're being driven by their doubts and their fears, you can be greedy and look for ways to grow during a time when other people are too fearful. And again, it's normal to feel that way. It's normal to be worried or fearful during a time like this. But growth operators or high-level operators, they look for ways to find opportunity during times like these. And pursuing and building your app, especially right now when apps are just being thrust into the spotlight, it's following that saying exactly. It's following that advice exactly. It's looking for a way to build something that will serve you well in the long run. Now, there are a lot of ways people are building their apps or changing their apps right now. And I know you've seen this too. You've probably gotten emails or read the news or even seen on TV or whatever it may be. You've probably heard about a lot of apps creatively adapting right now. Remember how we talked about how growth operators stay the course or creatively adapt? How many emails have you gotten about the services or the apps you use that are creatively adapting right now? How many businesses have you read about that are creatively adapting? Think about Starbucks, who is going to online orders right now. They're closing their in-store cafes so that customers can still order online, but they have to pick it up and then go. Or other restaurants that are doing that, relying on delivery or pickups. Or think about the different software programs that businesses are using to go online right now. Think about the different software programs that schools and entire universities around the entire world are using to go online right now. Think about streaming apps that connect people, whether it's with work or education or something outside of that. Think about apps that are helping businesses operate remotely or operate with less person-to-person contact. And really importantly, and something that I want to also draw out a little bit, just moving my notes here, are the apps that are helping businesses become more recession-proof. That's a huge thing right now. There are a few different ways that founders and apps are helping businesses. Let me switch my color here. Helping businesses become recession-proof. Because recessions, they're inevitable. Historically, they are going to continue to happen, whether it is because of something like the coronavirus or something entirely different. Recessions happen. And especially right now, when, like I said, apps are being thrust into the spotlight and there is more online business presence than ever before, especially now, people are finding ways to use apps to help make their businesses or other businesses recession-proof. And there's a few different ways of doing this. One is they're building apps to help businesses lower their operating costs. And a few examples of this. Some of our clients right now are spending tens of thousands of dollars on software to help their own businesses run right now. If you run a business of your own, or if you are close with people who do, you know that paying for software to help a business run is expensive. Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per year. And that's for small businesses. That's just going to go up the larger the business is, the more customers they serve, the more services or products they offer. A lot of our clients right now are building apps to help lower their operating costs. So an example of that is building an all-in-one custom app, right? And we're talking about without coding. So this is something they can do quickly, get up and running quickly. They are taking all those different softwares they pay tens of thousands of dollars for, and they're building them by themselves and combining them into one, and not only combining them, but building them specifically for their own business or for exactly how businesses in their industries operate. So by making an initial investment right now and getting that app built, they are able to save tens of thousands of dollars over time, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of their business just by building their app. And that's an excellent way to help make a business recession-proof because you're lowering their operating costs. They're spending less money. They have more capital. Another thing we're seeing founders do to help use apps to create recession-proof businesses is that they are automating manual labor. This can happen in a lot of different shapes and forms. One way we see it happening is think about administrative tasks, or think about follow-ups, or if you might be running your own business. If not, you are in working in your own job every day. You are excelling in your career. You're hands-on at work. Whatever your work may be, you are hands-on. Think about all the redundant things you do every single day. Think about all the things that you have to do. They just have to be done, but they don't necessarily need to be done by you. Think about all the things you might hand off. Think about the types of people you pay to do some of that work for you, or the businesses you serve. Think about the types of people they pay and the types of people they employ to do these types of tasks. Well, a lot of founders are building apps right now, either for their own businesses or for their industries, to remove the need for that, manual labor, either by themselves or by other employees or contractors. And, we're not trying to put people out of jobs, but what that allows businesses to do is put their money where it matters more, to prioritize the help they need. Maybe they don't need someone doing manual, redundant work. Maybe they can build a custom app that will allow them to replace that person and then hire a person in an area where it's more needed, where they may not have been able to hire that person before. So not only does that lower their operating costs if they are replacing a lot of their redundant tasks with an app, it might remove some of the stress on their own time, which, time is money. Time is money. So that only gives them back more money. Or, maybe it is helping a business hire someone they really need in order to grow and move forward. And that growth and that time savings and that money savings on operating costs helps create a more recession-proof business. And then another way we see this happening is that people are building apps to do things like help generate leads, right? So prospective customers, or close sales, or even nurture existing customers. Ways we're seeing this happening with our own clients are, some of our own clients operate agencies. They are consultants. They are small businesses, and they handle a lot of the lead process themselves. So, going out, marketing, bringing in people who they might be able to turn into customers. So generating leads. It's time consuming. Some of our clients are building apps that are specific to their businesses that will automate the lead generation process and give them as much as 30 hours per week of their time back. Now, if you had 30 hours per week, think of the different money-making activities you could apply that time to instead. Other people are creating apps to help them close sales. Maybe they are relying on industry sort of normal software to help them demo things to customers or to help them run operations with customers. And maybe they use that during sales calls or sales meetings. And because it's so archaic, customers or potential customers are actually turned off by it. We've seen that happen with some of our clients before, where they are actually building apps to just help the sales process along so that they can convert more leads into actual paying customers. Other ways we see this happen is with people building apps to help nurture their existing customers. So to help give their customers better experiences once they are on the inside, so to speak. So for the people building apps like this, they are not only, I'm going to come back up here, they're not only taking the mindset of a growth operator, they're doubling down, they're staying the course or creatively adapting, they're looking for opportunities for growth, but they're also helping to create recession-proof businesses, right? To make it so that, yes, things in the world are happening right now, and a lot of people are facing a lot of really difficult situations, but they're finding ways to make opportunities for growth in really difficult times like this, where they're planning forward. Remember, growth operators or high-level operators, they have a long-term mindset. The actions they take now will serve them well down the road and continue to serve them over and over from there, which is why a lot of them focus their efforts on apps like this that help businesses prevent, facing challenges and struggling in the long term. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, but I hope that gives you maybe a new perspective, a way to look at your app or to look at development or your current situation, whatever it may be, your business, your life, and to take the mindset of a growth operator versus a regressor. It's normal to feel fearful or to worry, but when that settles in and it drives your actions and drives your decisions, that is when those long-term aspirations start to disappear. The actions you take now, regardless of what's going on around you, and I know a lot of you have a lot on your plates right now, the actions you take now are going to directly reflect your long-term operations. So I hope that was helpful. Definitely leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts, and let us know if you have any questions. All right, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.